You are Locked On Phillies Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Philadelphia, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Of course, the Phillies score 16 runs last night when I'm taking care of some other responsibilities, let's call it. And I get this game today, and Aaron Nola was not great. I don't want to say terrible, but he wasn't great. He had a great run of starts going there for himself tonight. And then 101 pitches, 101 to get through 4 2/3 innings of work tonight by Nola. Laboring seems like a term. It feels like a term I've been using a lot lately to describe the way a lot of these Phillies pitchers have been pitching. Last night, but again, I didn't do the game last night. Eagle stuff going on, you know. But holy pots and pans. This was like they looked hungover. Something like run over. Like they were too many runs last night. They had too many runs last night. There was too much scoring last night, and they just were scoring hungover in today's game. The whole team. And I'm going to tell you, I get these gut feelings through games. I told you guys, I think the best one I've had throughout the season so far is actually recently when the Phillies were down 6-1 in the Tyler Phillips game that Kyle Schwarber ended up hitting the 3 home runs, right? I was like, they're down 6-1. And I'm like, you know what? I feel like they got this. Kyle Schwarber missed his 14th leadoff home run of the season by about a foot off the right center field wall on the first at bat of the game. When it didn't go out, I felt a loss. I'm telling you, that's just what I did. I was like, this isn't going to be it. If he would have hit it out, if it was a foot higher, we'd like, they got this, baby. They still ended up getting a run later in the first inning. Didn't matter as much. Still just that gut feeling. And then I watched Aaron Nola go out there in that first inning, throw 22 pitches, give up a 2-run home run. Phillies go down 2-1. And they had gone down. They'd taken a first inning lead in 2 games in Toronto. And then they'd given it back right away. I thought, all right, well, they're down 2-1, but they've come back after getting the first run of the game. They've done that enough, especially in this 6-game winning streak. They can do it again. And then immediately I went, nope, not today. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was about this game. I don't know what it was about this atmosphere in Miami. The way Aaron Nola just looked in the first inning, I felt like the Phillies had an mojo in this game today. And the best way I could describe this Phillies loss in general is they looked run over, hung over from the previous night. There's so much success last night they couldn't possibly handle more success. And here's the thing: the Phillies still scored 5 runs. So like offense wasn't abysmal by any means, but pitching and defense, horrendous. Oh my goodness gracious. Trea Turner, I was thinking about like the decision to throw home. We'll get into it in 3 big things, but the decision to throw home, I'm like, am I pissed at the decision or am I pissed at the result? Am I arguing against the philosophy and also angry at the result? I don't know. I don't know. In the moment, I didn't know, and then I realized, no, I'm angry at everything. I'm angry at the decision. I'm angry at the execution. And then during the broadcast, I heard Scott Fransky say, and by the way, I love T-Mac, but I think Scott Fransky is just incredible. And I'm listening to him say, only 1 run scores on the air, and I'm like, technically 2, because if the throw was on the money, he gets the out at home. If the throw wasn't god-awful, then still maybe only one. Like, if it was even a high throw and not an atrocious throw, the run still scores, but the second run does not. But it was the worst. It was the worst. The only thing Trea Turner could have done worse in that situation is field the ball, turn around, and throw it over the left field wall. That's probably the only thing he could have done worse in that whole process for the Phillies and everything. So anyway, I come to you as not a happy camper. I feel like I missed out on a party last night. I'll still be showing the box score from last night just because that makes me feel all warm and fuzzy. But we'll also, of course, spend most of the time talking about this game and tomorrow afternoon's game. 1:40 start time. Phillies trying to take 3 or 4 against the Miami Marlins with a rookie on the bump. Seth Johnson, recently acquired in the Gregory Soto trade. He is now pitching for your Philadelphia Phillies starting tomorrow, getting the call up to the major league level. Look forward to breaking all that down with you wonderful people. Welcome into Locked On Sports Philadelphia. That's Locked On Sports Philadelphia and the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys so much. Make sure you break it all down with me coming up here. And thank you for making Locked On Podcast Network your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This particular episode is brought to you by the wonderful people, the Prize Picks. Use promo code Locked On MLB at prizepicks.com/locked on. That's all lowercase to win $50 instantly when you play just $5 with Prize Picks. Let's start it off with three big things. I'm going to go number 3 just because I enjoyed this, and it's the one thing I enjoyed in today's game, all right? Garrett Stubbs. Why are we trying to kill Garrett Stubbs? Why are we trying to kill Vibes Guy, huh? Why are we literally trying to kill Vibes himself? Garrett Stubbs gets you a bunt single, then ends up on third with the triple. I joked on social media that that's actually not just a little league triple anymore. That's a big league triple, considering how liberally they apply the scoring to benefit the offense. But Garrett Stubbs ends up rounding the bases. This was absolutely incredible. This was absolutely bonkers. Third inning of the game, Phillies are down, it's a tie ball game. Phillies, it's a 2-1. Phillies are still trailing 2-1 in the third inning. Garrett Stubbs goes up there, lays down the bunt, reaches first base on a legit bunt single. Okay, he would have beat the throw, so they ruled an infield single. Maybe that's the benefit of playing in today's baseball, where you get the benefit of the doubt there. He reaches on that bunt single. It's an error, throwing error on the pitcher for the Marlins there. And then he reaches second base on that throwing error, then reaches third base on an E4. So he gets the Little League triple. Goes into the shallow left field. Garrett Stubbs gets to third base. Very next batter, Kyle Schwarber gets the RBI sack fly to left field, bringing in Stubbs. You're tied right now at 2-2. Garrett Stubbs wasn't done yet, baby. Phillies are down 4-2 at this point now in the fifth inning. Garrett Stubbs steps up after Cody Clemens led off by striking out on a fastball away. Johan Rojas, who had a hell of a game last night, we'll mention it, gets a triple, just missing a home run to dead center field in the cavernous Miami Marlins home ballpark. He puts it to center field, gets a triple, standing on third base with one out. Garrett Stubbs lays down another bunt, gets another bunt single, and this time brings the run home. It's an RBI bunt single for Garrett Stubbs, makes it a one-run ball game. Again, it's a 4-3 ball game. And in between it all, Stubbs got hit in the head in the third inning, going to second base on a throw. And then Stubbs got hit in the head again by Sanchez's bat in the bottom of the fourth inning when Sanchez took a little too much of a looping swing, hit Stubbs in the head. And then to go with the theme of trying to kill Vibes Guy himself, trying to kill the vibes in the room, Bryce Harper bumps into him when Garrett Stubbs is trying to make a play in foul territory and does, in fact, make the play. A little Bob Boone, Pete Rose action, if you will, in the 1980 World Series. For those old enough to remember, I'm not even old enough to remember, but I do like baseball. But Garrett Stubbs, the only fun thing I'm going to have to talk about in tonight's game, this afternoon's game, so Garrett Stubbs gets number 3. Number 2, I get it. I understand. It's not going to be all gravy. It's not going to be all wonderful every single time when we talk about what's going to go on with Aaron Nola out there. Oh, my goodness gracious. We're not going to do that. It's not going to be great. But when you look at tonight's stuff, for instance, for Aaron Nola, he was coming off one heck of a roll. And we all know that the home run is going to get Aaron Nola a lot of times. To amount to a loss, though, he's been able to skirt that as of recently. When it comes to taking losses thanks to too many long balls given up. But he comes into tonight's game, had not allowed more than 2 runs in his last 4 starts, had not allowed more than 3 runs in his last 5 starts. And unfortunately tonight, it was one of those things where he just didn't happen. And you're going throughout his start tonight, and you see that this is just going to be a laboring start for Aaron Nola. First inning, I mentioned 22 pitches, gives up the home run, the 2-run homer to Norby. Then 19 pitches in the second inning, 23 pitches in the third inning. Oh, my goodness gracious. 3 runs were across the plate. Still manageable for the Phils. They go down, unfortunately, at that point. I think it was 3-2 at the close of the third inning. Fourth inning, 25 pitches to get 25 to get those 3 outs, and he allows another run. This one, an RBI single by Norby to left field, a knuckle curveball that just hung up too much in the zone, and that made it a 4-2 ball game, unfortunately, in favor of the Miami Marlins. The game continues. 5th inning, gives up the solo home. I was surprised at this point that the Phillies allowed Aaron Nola to go out there and pitch the 5th inning. I thought at that point he was at 86 pitches, I believe it was. I thought there's no way they're going to let him go out there in the 5th inning. You were able to pull Zach Wheeler in the previous night after I believe it was 84 pitches with the huge lead that you had. So you didn't want to waste them after the 6th inning, and I get that philosophy. I only assume they wanted Aaron Nola to go out there again for the 5th inning, which he gave up a home run immediately on a fastball up in the zone to Bride to make it a 5-3 game. I can only assume the reason they had him go out there again was because they don't know how it's going to go with Seth Johnson tomorrow and didn't want to use bullpen arms now. I think that's stretching for a reason, but I still think it's a reason, unfortunately. So he goes out there in the 5th inning, gives up the home run, stays out there. Eventually, they bring in Ruiz to get the final out of the inning. He did strike out Stowers on a no curveball. He got Lopez to ground out short, and then Conine, so old watching Jeff Conine play. He got a single to center field, and they take him out. They bring in Ruiz. Ruiz gets Fortes to foul out to Stubbs. That's where he had that collision, unfortunately, with Bryce Harper in foul territory. Number one, I'm not going to go Taijuan Walker here. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go Taijuan Walker here. I'm not going to do it. We know he's not a good pitcher, and I think I've cracked the code as to why the Phillies aren't doing anything with it. Other than the fact that Colby Allard can actually pitch for the Phillies again in 3 days, including today, 2 more games before Colby Allard can pitch until September 10th. He can come back. Here's where I'm at with all that. Here's what I've decided when it comes to the Taijuan Walker thing. The Phillies are going to shut him down. They're not going to have him pitch for the Phillies when Colby Allard is able to join the team. He's not going to pitch again for the rest of the year. I think that's when they shut him down. I think they move him in the offseason by paying a poop load of his contract. Because you're going to end up next year having a guy like Andrew Painter in this rotation who is already starting to throw, coming back from Tommy John surgery. You're already going to have Christopher Sanchez, right? You're obviously going to have Aaron Nola. You're obviously going to have Zach Wheeler. You're obviously going to have Ranger Suarez. So where exactly would Taijuan Walker and his $18 million fit in this whole thing? Nowhere. Nowhere. And they're not paying him to be an $18 million bullpen arm. You know what I'm saying? So Taijuan Walker, I'm over it. I'm done with it. Forget about it. I'm moving on with my life when it comes to Taijuan Walker. So he's not number one. Number one is Trea Turner. As I mentioned in the start of the show, this was terrible. Trea Turner was great last night. He was a lot of fun last night. In this game, terrible. Let's get into it. All right. First and foremost, again, I'm not blaming Trea Turner for the loss. Yes, I think the number one reason why they did lose was because Aaron Nola was really struggling in tonight's game. But it's just so ridiculous to me that in the 7th inning, the Phillies are down 6-3. Phillies have a situation there where Lopez hit a home run in the 7th off Walker. Conine works a walk against Walker. Fortes steps up there. He gets the double. Sun just goes up there. Sanoa goes up there. He gets the ground ball to Trea Turner at shortstop. Trea Turner, bases loaded situation, I believe, fires home for some reason, thinking, let me at least get the out at home, and misfires so terribly that 2 runs score on his terrible throw and, quite frankly, terrible decision. Because you just take the out in that situation. You get the second out of the inning, and you start inching your way out of that inning. And he chose not to do that. He chose violence. And seeing him try to corral baseballs that are sharply hit at him there at shortstop. There was another instance. I think it actually cost Trea Turner in the game as well. I think it actually cost Aaron Nola earlier in the game as well, where there was a ball that he tried backhanding and just didn't get to, and it leaked into center field. It is quite the adventure watching him try to corral baseballs. And I mentioned to you guys last week, I was in Virginia with people that, watch the Nationals a lot. And they're like, oh, Trea Turner, he's got to be great for him. I'm like, well, he's hitting well. He's like top 5 in hitting, top 3 in hitting at the time. But when you talk about him at shortstop, it's a bit of a struggle. And you saw it tonight. Again, his 16th error of the season for Trea Turner. Not ideal. Not ideal. And you look at tonight's game, just never really looked comfortable, unfortunately. Went 0 for 4 for the night, got the average below 300. He's now at 297 on the season with a 344 on base percentage. As I mentioned, his 16th error of the season, now allowed 2 runs to score in the 7th inning. Not that I felt like it was ever going to be winning this game, but that just certainly put it out of reach for the Phils, despite a little bit of a run for the Phils. They started to put up some runs there in the 8th inning. When we come back, that's 3 big things I got for you today. I got the fun of Garrett Stubbs, the fun thing about this. I got the fact that Aaron Nola was struggling mightily throughout his 4 2/3 tonight. And Trea Turner just continuing to really be a frustration there at the shortstop position. When we come back, we'll take a look at who's going to be starting for the Phils tomorrow. We're going to do a past and we're going to do a future. And we're going to try to avoid this game in particular today. That's when we come back. You're Locked On Sports Philadelphia, the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. I'm Mark Barzetta. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on Locked On Sports Philadelphia. Back in a second, right here on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. How about Ibotta? Ibotta is fantastic. If you're not using Ibotta, you're really missing out on some great features from Ibotta. Ibotta is a free app that lets you earn cash back every time you shop. Earn on hundreds of items from groceries to beauty supplies, even toys. So you can make sure you're beating inflation no matter what you're purchasing. The average Ibotta user earns $256 per year. That can cover the cost of a flight or that delicious meal that you've been craving at that fancy schmancy restaurant that you've been eyeing up. Other apps also just give you points that don't amount to much, but with Ibotta, you earn cash back that you can withdraw to your bank account, PayPal, and gift cards. It's fantastic. Simply add offers in the app, upload your receipt, and voila, the money is yours. You could save on over 2,400 brands and shop at over 1,000 retailers, including your favorite grocery stores, Lowe's for you home improvement people, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and so much more. It's time you joined over 50 million users who use Ibotta to earn cash back every day and every time that they shop. You got to take advantage of all this. Right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners $5 just for trying Ibotta by using promo code LOCKEDONMLB when you register. That's promo code LOCKEDONMLB when you register. Just go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibotta app to start earning cash back and use promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's Ibotta, IBOTTA in the Google Play Store or the App Store and just use promo code LOCKEDONMLB. I do want to say thank you so much for making Locked On Sports Philadelphia and this Locked On Phillies postcast your first listen every day. As for your second listen, enjoy Locked On MLB podcast with host Paul Sullivan, a.k.a. Sully. He's here daily to provide national expertise with his trademark humor to help you get ready for the MLB playoffs here in the dog days of summer. And now that we're through the dog days of summer, you can prepare for the Fall Classic with Sully, who has it covered every single day on Locked On MLB, available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Let's go back. Let's go back in time to yesterday when this was the Phillies box score. That was great. I'm sorry I missed that. Schwarber had 2 hits, 3 RBIs, his 33rd home run of the season. Turner was 3 for 5, got the average back up to 300. Harper was 3 for 5. This was great stuff. Now, I mentioned earlier that Garrett Stubbs was the only real fun thing that I watched in today's ball game. The other great thing in today's ball game, I will say, has to do 100% with Bryson Stott, who was getting on base for you, drove you in a run, got you 3 hits. So that, to me, is a guy and a sign of a guy that is really starting to turn the corner. And it's really wild. If you look through the month of September going into this game today, you see a Phillies lineup that went out there and obviously struggled. I mean, 5 runs, and they struggled. 5 runs, and they struggled. But you see a Phillies lineup out there tonight, this afternoon, whatever, that went out there and did not capitalize on every single opportunity, nor present every single opportunity that they could have had. But in the month of September, if you look up and down their statistics, it's like you have 2 guys hitting over 400. You have 6 guys hitting over 300. Maybe this game, albeit still 5 runs by the offense, that kind of come back down to earth moment after a 16-run performance in this beautiful game that was last night. Obviously not tonight's. So that's the past. Let's look ahead to the future and the 1:40 start time tomorrow, where Seth Johnson gets the start for the Phillies, his major league debut. I boxed up for you here in the red box what he's done for the Phillies in the minor league so far this year. He has been pretty incredible. 3 starts at AAA this year. He is 2-0 in those 3 starts with a 0.56 ERA and a whip of 0.69. Nice. How about that? Opponent's batting average at the minor league level, 0.094. Yeah, I'd say he's ready to come back, or excuse me, I'd say he's ready to come up to the big league level. Now, he's a 25-year-old starting pitcher that turns 26 in 10 days, I believe it is. So soon to be happy birthday for Seth Johnson. He came over in the Gregory Soto deal. By the way, Soto's ERA has gone up, I believe, almost 2 runs. Maybe more than 2 runs. It was 4, and now it's 6. It was like 4.25 with the Phillies, and now I think it's like 6.75 with the Orioles. So maybe even more than 2 runs. So I would say that the Phillies have gotten the better end of this deal. But yeah, 2-0 at the minor league level in AAA with Lehigh Valley. He did make a couple of starts there for the Reading Fightin' Phils. He posted a 3.52 ERA in those 2 starts. He went 0-1 in those starts in just 7 2/3 innings pitched over the course of those 2 starts. But then they said, hey, let's get him out of Reading and let's get him up to AAA Lehigh Valley and see what he could do. I am absolutely thrilled, and I'm absolutely excited to see what the Phillies will be doing with Seth Johnson on the hill tomorrow. And I also want to see if he can help the Phils down the stretch with less of Taijuan Walker. I also want to see if maybe they can invest in this a rookie arm. He came out in the 2019 draft, in the same draft that Bobby Witt Jr. was taken, the same draft that Bryson Stott was taken by the Phillies at the 14th overall pick, I believe it was. So he comes in as a first-round pick despite being the 40th pick in the draft, still technically a first-round pick in the 2019 MLB draft. When we come back, take a look at your comments, what you guys have to say about this Philadelphia Phillies lost today and snapping their 6-game winning streak. Back in a few. You're Locked On Sports Philadelphia. You're Locked On Phillies postcast. Prize Picks is always a great time. If you're not using Prize Picks, you are, in fact, missing out. Prize Picks is a great time. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest, most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. And unlike other apps on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. Watch the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy so that your lineup can stay pretty incredible. Even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks, you know what they do? They make your picks live. Prize Picks puts your members first. That's what they do with Prize Picks. They put their members first. So all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. And when my picks hit, unfortunately, they did not for me today. I expected a little bit more from Aaron Nola. I didn't get it. But you can cash out in as quick as 15 minutes. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB and get $50 instantly when you play just $5. That's promo code LOCKEDONMLB on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive the 50 bonus bucks. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game with Prize Picks and use promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Let's get into the chat check and see how you guys are doing on this fine Saturday. A little rainy in the Philadelphia area, in the Delaware Valley. A little rainy over here. Michael Landy, what's going on? How is Turner this bad at defense? He is either lazy or bad, probably both. I just think he's bad. I do not think he is good. I think he is bad. I think he is a bad defensive shortstop. Christopher Michael Turner is so bad defensively. He fudges the most routine plays. Yes, it's a good word, fudges. Johnson Wall, what's popping? We can move Stott back to short, bring Turner to second, but I don't know how I feel about that. I still think Bryson Stott's the best shortstop on the team. I mean, maybe Edmundo Sosa. Trea Turner might be your third best option to play shortstop. He could very well be your third best option. But yeah, I have been saying that pretty much all year. And can someone help me out with something? Because I'm really struggling with something here. I know I said this before, but Johan Rojas got a triple tonight. Okay, today. Johan Rojas literally started to figure it out, and the Phillies were like, "Can you have a seat on the bench, please? Because we're not going to be playing you for. We're not going to be playing you a lot." Then Austin Hayes goes on the 10-day IL. Alec Boehm now on the 10-day IL. And he steps up there and gets you, 3 doubles last night and a triple today? Huh. It's funny. Maybe you should let the guy continue to play and be the best center fielder that you have on this team by a pretty huge majority. You know what I mean? Maybe that's just an idea. Just a thought I'm having out loud that I'm saying into the microphone. Oh, wait, IBH, I don't think I read what you said. Well, if we're looking for a silver lining, Casty and Stott are running on all cylinders. Very true. That's a good point. What do we do to deserve Walker? I don't know. Maybe we just booed the wrong person at the wrong time, and this is karma. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's that we're not supposed to have nice things, and in the starting pitching realm, although today's not a good example for Aaron Nola, we got 4 really nice things is what we got, and then we have to have Taijuan Walker thrown in the mix there. Maybe that's the case. Maybe this is karma at the end of the year for how the Phillies handled Spencer Turnbull at the beginning of the year. Yeah, remember Spencer Turnbull? That guy? Anyway. John Marinelli, that was truly embarrassing. Existentialism tyrant. Still love your name. The game was still within reach. Why bring in Walker? Eat that money and keep him off the field. Terrible. I don't know. Evelyn, what's going on, Evelyn? I'm at a wrestling show. Have fun on the postcast. Is Evelyn, you're at a wrestling show? Like independent wrestling league or something like that? I know plenty. I know a buddy of mine's a referee for one of those, and a manager. He doubles. He does both. He does both of them. Tim Cione. How do you say your name? Please spell it phonetically. I'm curious. Why, Walker? Why? I don't know. The last time I saw Taijuan Walker, he was in Canada, and he was going up there, and he was like, did okay. He gave up a 2-run home run, I think it was, against the Blue Jays, but he gave it 2 scoreless innings, and they said, you know what? Let's keep pushing. And that's a mistake, unfortunately. Timothy B. How you been, Timothy B? Sup, Farzetta? I guess Turner has to cost the Phillies an important game in the playoffs for them to wise up and move his ass. Excellent. To second. He's going to cost them. He's a terrible shortstop. Not ideal. Joshua Farrell ran out of gas tonight, but Stubbsy. Stubbies? Is that what you're calling them? Stubbies? Yeah, it was pretty terrible. Here's the good news. Phillies are back tomorrow afternoon, 1:40 start time. Seth Johnson makes the start. I'm excited to see that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Make sure you guys hit like and subscribe to the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. That's Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. I'll be back with you guys after the Phillies hopefully take 3 out of 4 against this Miami Marlins team tomorrow afternoon. See you guys then. Bye.